The Retrobit Retro Prism component cables featured in today's review were provided courtesy of Retrobit. It is an amazing time to be a GameCube fan, as there is a ton of interest being put into the system from all corners of the retro world. From optical drive emulators to new wireless controllers and an assortment of HDMI output options, the GameCube has no shortage of new tech to bolster its capabilities into the modern world of technology. But for fans of having the best video output option for their legacy setup, things haven't been quite as easy. Finding a pair of official GameCube component cables is a costly option, and the dual HDMI analog offering of the Eon GCHD Mark II can be less appealing to some. Insurrection Industries Carby component cables offered a less expensive alternative to both of these, but unfortunately only saw a single production run. This left fans seeking a lower cost component cable with few options. Enter the Retrobit Retro Prism component cables. This new low-cost GC Videolite base component cable looks to be a perfect entry point for fans of component output. At a price point of only $59.99, it fits the role almost perfectly. The Retro Prism component cables, henceforth to be referred to as the Retro Prism for this review, come in a nice purple box with both ends of the cable on glossy display. The notation that the Retro Prism is only compatible with Dole 001 model GameCubes is also on full display right up front. For those of you with Model 101 GameCubes, an internal mod is available to restore the digital port. The side of the packaging notates some key aspects of the cables, while the back gives you a more comprehensive overview. Inside the box you will find the Retro Prism housed in an anti-static bag with instructions located on the inside flap. The Retro Prism comes in at 6 feet long, or 1.8 meters for our international friends, and is fully shielded for optimum output quality. The console connector shares an aesthetic design with Retrobit's HDMI Prism, only a bit shorter and a cable coming out of it. No USB-C port is to be found on the Retro Prism either, making any potential updates for the cable have to rely on homebrew solutions. The cable fits firmly into the back of the GameCube with no signs of sagging. For anyone who might be concerned about this, you could check out RetroFrog for a brace to add to your system. On the output side, we have 5 different RCA jacks breaking out from the main cable at a length of roughly 9 inches, or 23 centimeters, giving the ends plenty of maneuverability. There are no signs of death grip on the RCA jacks, so whether I am hooking the Retro Prism up to my HD CRT or the wonderful RetroTink 5X, there are no worries of damaging my equipment. Now, in full disclosure, I have been using the Retro Prism for quite a while now, as Retrobit sent me a near-final production sample to test for compatibility issues before the retail release. As such, I've been able to put both that test cable and the new retail version up against over 200 games in the GameCube's library without issue. That being said, the video and audio output from the retail cable is appearing cleaner. But I digress. The Retro Prism is ready to handle any resolution your GameCube can throw at it, be it a native system resolution or special resolutions activated through homebrew programs like Swiss. Specifically for my testing, I was focused on 240p, 480i, 480p, and 960i. Each resolution has output without issue and certainly looks clean in comparison to using a standard composite cable. Best of all is that the Retro Prism plays nicely with the Game Boy Interface homebrew software, allowing for 360p output and wonderful scaling through the RetroTink 5X in its 1440p output modes. Do note that 960i is going to be very game specific on if it functions or not. I also do not have access to a PAL system, so I cannot attest to how its output modes handle personally. Because the Retro Prism is based on GC Videolite, this means it does not come with any sort of built-in line doubling for 240p and 480i content. Because of this, using a scaler like the RetroTink 2X multi-format, 5X, or homebrew like Swiss to force progressive modes is going to be preferred for use on a modern display to get the most out of your Retro Prism purchase. While modern displays can usually handle 480i content just fine, there can be instances of increased input lag when compared to 480p. This can happen regardless of your output cables. But the Retro Prism is turning in a solid performance with great colors and brightness.
You win Battle 2. Fight!
Pairing the Retro Prism with the RetroTink 5X is such an amazing use case for the cables on modern displays, but even if you are connecting them straight into a component-equipped CRT, you will not be disappointed. I have an HD CRT that I use specifically for Gen 6 consoles in particular, and the picture output from the Retro Prism on the display makes me quite happy, even though this TV is not calibrated by any stretch of the imagination. Though it lacks native BNC connectivity, I can see owners of professional-grade CRTs being quite happy with the Retro Prism. Progressive scan capabilities will be determined by your display, but again, even in 480i, the picture is looking much nicer than standard composite. Moving on to audio output. One of the Retro Prism's biggest selling points is that the cables output both video and audio through the digital out port of the GameCube. This makes it so you don't have to have an extra set of Nintendo composite cables attached at the same time as your component cables. Mono, stereo, and Dolby Pro Logic 2 output modes are all supported. The audio output isn't without some minor flaws, however. This first early run of cables actually has the right and left audio channels swapped, so to get proper audio, the jacks need to be reversed. Retrobit is aware of this, and future runs will have the problem corrected. For anyone who receives a reversed cable, Retrobit will offer replacements by emailing their support team. Next, the output quality is mixed a bit differently from official Nintendo cables. It likely won't be noticeable to all but the biggest of audiophiles, but comparing the two outputs side by side in editing software, you can see the variations. So there is a use case in keeping a set of Nintendo composite cables on hand specifically for audio output. It won't be something I do personally, but I want you all to be aware of the option. To recap, the Retrobit Retro Prism component cables is one of the most cost-effective ways to get the best video quality out of your GameCube system to date. With support for various output resolutions and the ability to work well with CRTs or scalers, the Retro Prism has taken my top recommendation spot for GC fans just getting into the scene who aren't interested in HDMI output. A cable option like this from a more reputable company is also certainly welcome, and with the first revision underway to correct the audio jack labeling, it is a near-perfect option for component fans. Audiophiles may not like that the audio output varies from official Nintendo cables, but for the more casual listener, it shouldn't be very noticeable. If this sounds like the perfect cable for your GameCube needs, you can pick it up from these various retailers. And those are the Retrobit Retro Prism component cables. Big thank you again to Retrobit for letting me be part of the test process, and check these guys out in their final retail form. But what do you think? Are you a bigger fan of component output from GameCube, or do you like your HDMI options? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter in the comments section below. But big thank you to everybody that made it to the end of today's review. Really means the world to us that you spend even a minute in our channel. Really helps it grow and keep the place going. Just amazing. Thank you so much. Now, I do have a couple of huge favors to ask here at the end. If you haven't done so already, hit that like or dislike button, just depending on how much you like today's review. And if you haven't already, hit that sub button and notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel as well. Lots of content to come, and I would love to have you along for the ride. Now, for those of you that might be further interested in supporting the channel, there's also a join button here on YouTube, and a Patreon link should be popping up over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Little goes a long way to keeping this place going and bringing more content just like this to all of you. Big shout out to all of our current backers. Thank you just so much for being our champions, our rock stars. You're all so awesome. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you back next video.